Today we're going to be going through 2.3, solving multi-step equations. So yesterday we just looked at two-step equations, and we only looked at step 4 and step 5 for our general steps, undoing addition and subtraction, and undoing multiplication and division. Today when we solve multi-step equations, we're also going to have to use the distributive property and combine like terms. So we're still not adding in all of our steps. We're missing step 3. Today we're going to work on these 4 steps, and then tomorrow we'll add in the missing one. So let's look at some examples. So example 1, when we solve the equations, if we look at A, we do not have to use the distributive property because there's no parentheses, but we do have to combine like terms. 8x and negative 6x are like terms. So our first step would be to combine them. Since they are on the same side of the equal sign, we do the operation as is. We have 8x and negative 6x, so that makes 2x. Now we have the plus 5, which we haven't changed yet, equals 25. So I combine like terms. From here, now it's a two-step problem. I would undo addition and subtraction, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So I have 2x equals 20. And then I would undo multiplication and division. So I would divide both sides by 2. So I have x equals 10. The next example is the same idea. So here I have 5 and negative 13, because we look at the sign in front, that can be combined. So this 13 right here, I'm going to leave as is. The 3b I haven't done anything to yet, but I'm going to combine the 5 and the negative 13. 5 plus negative 13 is negative 8. From here, I'm going to go ahead, it's a two-step equation. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So 13 plus 8 is 21. And then, to get the b alone, I would divide by 3 on both sides. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. So I get that 7 equals b. So the last example, I have negative 23 equals negative 2a minus 10 plus a. So I have the negative 2a and the positive 1a that I can combine. So remember, even though you don't see a number in front of the a, that signifies that there's one of them. So I'm going to combine those first. So negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. And I have minus 10. So from here, I'm doing exactly what I normally do. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. I undo addition and subtraction first. So negative 23 plus 10 is negative 13. And I have the negative a. Now, we can't leave a negative a. We think of this as negative 1a. So I would get rid of the negative 1 by dividing, because it was negative 1 times a. So I do the opposite, I divide. Well, negative 13 divided by negative 1 is positive 13. And negative 1a divided by negative 1 is a positive a. So I have 13 equals a. So let's go on to the next example. Here I do have parentheses. So my first step when solving equations is if I have parentheses, I have to use the distributive property. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute the 8 to the r and to the 2. Remember, when we distribute, we're multiplying. So I'm taking 8 times r, which is 8r. I'm taking 8 times 2, which is 16. Now that the parentheses are gone, I look to see if I can combine any like terms. Well, none of these have like terms, so I skip that step. My next step is to undo addition and subtraction. So I'm going to minus 16 from both sides. So 64 minus 16 is 48. So I have 48 equals 8r. Well, now since I have 8 times r, to get the r alone, I divide by 8. 48 divided by 8 is 6. So I have r equals 6. So that would be my answer. So B is the same exact thing. I'm going to take the negative 2 and I'm going to distribute it to both terms inside the parentheses. So I have 14 equals negative 4t plus 2 because it's negative 2 times negative 1. Now from here, I'm going to subtract the 2. So 14 minus 2 is 12. So I have 12 equals negative 4t. Now from here, the negative 4t is multiplication. So I want to undo that by dividing by negative 4 on both sides. So 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is a positive 1. So I have negative 3 equals negative t. So our last example. Again, I have to use the distributive property. So that always comes first. I need to get rid of the parentheses. The n over here I haven't used. I can't combine n plus 5. Order of operations, we have to do parentheses first. So I have n plus 5 times n, so 5n. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, so minus 5. Now here, before I move on to undoing addition and subtraction, I have to combine like terms. N plus 5n is 6n. So I have 6n minus 5 equals 7. So now I can add 5 to both sides. And I get 6n equals 12. And then my last step is to divide by 6. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. So that is how you solve multi-step equations. Tomorrow we'll look at filling in that last